Today we're going to do 10.6 operations of functions. This will be our last day doing this, so let's go ahead and jump in. For this one, it says f of g of 3. So that means the first thing that I need to do is find out what g of 3 is. Notice here that it says g of x is equal to x plus 1. So instead of that x, I'm going to put 3. So g of 3 is going to be 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 gives me 4. So now when I say g of g of 3, which we now know is 4, all I'm going to do is replace that x with 4. So f of x is equal to 4 squared. 4 squared means 4 times 4. 4 times 4 gives me 16. And that's my answer. For the next one, again, all I'm going to do is replace where it says x for the g, and I'm going to put 2. So g of 2 is equal to 3 times 2. 3 times 2 gives me 6. So now I'm going to put 6 where I have the x. So f of x is equal to 2 times 6 minus 1. 2 times 6 gives me 12. 12 minus 1 gives me 11. And that's my answer. For the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of where the the x is, I'm going to put 7. So I have g of 7 is equal to 7 squared plus 1. 7 squared is 49. 49 plus 1 gives me 50. So now where I see the x, I'm going to put 50. So f of x equals 2 times 50 minus 1. 2 times 50 is 100. 100 minus 1 gives me 99. For the next one, it says f of g of x. So now we don't have a number to replace. All we're going to do is, instead of where it says x, I'm going to put what g of x is. So negative 3 times 2x squared minus 8 plus 7. Keep in mind, every time that you have a number outside of the parenthesis, all you need to do is multiply. So negative 3 times 2 gives me negative 6, and then I have x squared. So negative 6, x squared. And negative times a negative gives me a positive, so 3 times 8 gives me 24. And I also have that 7 there. These are like terms. Whenever you have like terms, that means you need to do exactly what it says. So I'm going to do 24 plus 7. So in my calculator, 24 plus 7 gives me 31. So this is negative 6x squared plus 31. And that's my answer because there are no other like terms. So this is just it. For the next one, it says that I have g of f of x. So now I'm going to put f of x's information in where I have an x. So it's going to say 3 times, and then I'm going to put x squared minus 5 squared plus 1. Now, because it says squared, that means I have 2 of them. So it's 3x squared minus 5, x squared minus 5 plus 1. Now you guys could do box or you could do FOIL. It's totally up to you what you want to do. Whichever way that you want to do it, just make sure that you do it completely. Here I have x squared times x squared. That means I have 4 x squares altogether. I have negative 5 times x squared. That's negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times x squared again, negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times negative 5. Negative and a negative, positive. 5 times 5 gives me 25. And then, of course, I have that plus 1. Now, I need to do my like terms. My like terms are in here that say x squared. Negative 5 minus 5 gives me negative 10. Oh, I put a 2 instead of the 4. Negative 10 squared, and then plus 25, plus 1. All right, keep in mind, just like last time, whenever you have a number in front of the parenthesis, you need to multiply it. So 3 times x to the 4th is 3x to the 4th. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30, x squared 3 times 25. If I have 3 25-cents, it gives me 75. And then plus 1. The only like terms that I have here are the 75 and 1. So 75 plus 1 gives me 76. So my answer is going to be 3x to the fourth minus 30x to the second plus 76. And that's my answer. All right, for the last one. Again, I need to do g of f. So I'm going to do, it starts with x, so x plus 1 squared minus, and then it says x again, so x plus 1 plus 3. Again, when I say squared, that means that I have 2 of them. All right, x times x gives me x squared. 1 times x gives me 1x. 1 times x again gives me 1x. And 1 times 1 gives me 1. Now, keep in mind, whenever you have a number outside of the parenthesis that you do not see, that means it's 1. So technically, there's a negative 1 in front of here. So negative 1 times x gives me negative x. Negative 1 times 1 gives me negative 1. And then, of course, we have that plus 3. Now all I have to do is do my like terms. I don't have a like term for the x squared, so I'm just going to write it. 1x plus 1x gives me 2x, minus 1x gives me 1x. Or you could just write x. 1 plus 1 gives me 2, minus 1 gives me 1. 1 plus 3 gives me 4. And that is my answer. For today's assignment, I need you guys to complete these 6 questions at the bottom of my notes. And for the next lesson, please make sure that you are doing all of the notes for your IXL. I'll remind you in the next video, but I need to see all of your work when you're doing these so that I can verify that you know how to complete them. Have a good day.